Good day. You are welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my Introduction to HTML course, which is part of my full stack website development bootcamp. Before you start writing your HTML code, take note of the following. Web browsers renders an HTML document. That is, the hypertext markup language is intimately related to web browsers. So whether you are in Opera or Google Chrome, Safari, Mozilla, Microsoft Edge, or even Internet Explorer, you are looking at an HTML document that is rendered by the browser. How HTML and web browser are interconnected. Whenever you make a server request, it returns with a response, and normally this response is an HTML file. How do you do the server request? You go to a website, you open a browser, then you type an address in the browser. The address that you enter will return an HTML response for you. Document object model. Whenever the address is entered into the server, the browser, whenever the server returns a response, the browser converts the response into what we call a document object model, DOM, which is shortcut as DOM. And if you look at the DOM, it's a structure, it's a tree structure. So we have the document at the top, we have the HTML root element just beneath the document. Then beneath it, there are two nodes. One is called the head, and then the body, as you can see from the side panel here. Now, to open the side panel, let me close it and open it. You can right click and then choose inspect. And whenever you choose inspect, it will open a new page showing you the DOM in addition to other stuff. Let me collapse this one for now. So if you look at the DOM, we have the doc type at the top, which is the document. We have the root element, which is the HTML. We have the head, and then we have the body. So that is what the DOM really is. The head can contain a lot of stuff, as you see in this website. And the body too can contain a lot of stuff, as you can see in this website. So the kind of website that you are designing and then the end users you are targeting will determine what to go into the head and what to go into the body. And note that each HTML element becomes a node in the DOM tree, and the browser organizes them according to their nesting in the HTML. Rendering content. Browsers applies default stars unless overridden by a CSS cascading sheet. When the browser receives the request, it returns an HTML file, and this HTML file is structured using a system or a facility called the DOM. And when you have the DOM, from the DOM, the UI is generated within the browser. So your understanding of HTML is required for you to have a firm understanding of the DOM. The DOM will be very useful or will come into play when you get to JavaScript. And you must take a conscious effort to understand what the DOM is. Because different browsers like Opera, Google Chrome, Safari, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, and Edge are all rendering the same HTML documents, they are usually guided by what? Standards. So that whenever you are writing a code, you must meet those standards so that the content of your web page will be rendered almost the same in each of the browsers. And this calls for what you call responsive design. Whenever you design a website, your website should be responsive. That is, you should be able to access the website on a mobile phone, on a tablet, on a small laptop, or on a bigger screen. You know, these days, there are very large screen sizes. So when you are designing your website, you should take all those things into consideration. Accessibility. There are accessibility standards in HTML, and you can go and check it. You get to know of it as we move along, as we move on. There are web standards also, which specifies how web pages should be constructed and implemented for people to access in a web browser. You have to conform to the standard to have a peace of mind. Security issues. Whenever you are working with a static website, security is not an issue. But as soon as you venture into a dynamic website where you expect users to input their data, enter their personal data, enter their financial data, make input on their bio data in the stuff, then there must be a security system in place to be able to make sure that your website is very secure. Extensions and plugins. There are so many extensions and plugins, just like in any other software. And each of these browsers have their respective extensions and plugins. So as you move on, then you understand HTML better. These extensions and plugins will become imperative for you to understand. And lastly, there's what we call developer tools. And that is what you see on the right here. So if I close this one, a normal website user does not need a developer tool. But as a web developer in the making, you must always have a fair idea of the developer tools and how to use it extensively. When I right click on any screen and then choose inspect, it will open the developer tools for me. So these are the developer tools. And we have it's made up of several tabs. Let me open it up so that you can see more. There are several tabs on the developer tools. We have elements tab, we have console tab, we have sources, network, performance, memory, application, security, lighthouse, recorder, and so on. All these tools are used by web developers to enhance the display and performance of their websites. But for now, our attention is going to be on the Elements tab. So if you go to Elements tab and I collapse the body here, you realize that this document is made up of a doc type, which is the document as we saw up here, worksheet, good. A doc type declaration, which you see here as a document, which specifies that it is an HTML document. Then there's the root element, which is the HTML tag, which encases all the content in your website. And the HTML tag is made up of two major tags, the head tag and the body tag. Within the head tags will be content, and within the body tags will also be content. And all these contents are going to be made up of tags. And each of these tags comes with attributes that helps you to manage the tags appropriately. Let's look at some few websites and move on. For instance, let's look at Facebook. It's a very popular website. Everybody uses Facebook. And if you look at Facebook and you reduce the Facebook to just the base, you see that we also have what we call the doc type, the HTML, the head tag, and then the body tag. Then within the Facebook are content. If I open the head tag, you realize that within the Facebook too, there are a lot of other tags: link tag, style tag, script tag, what again? There's another link tag here. There is if you go down further, there's a script tag, another link tag, and so on. See, there are more tags in the head alone. There's another script tag here. If I scroll down further, you see that there are a lot of tags which have been loaded into Facebook. So if you look at the complexity of the Facebook, it means that they require a lot of tags to achieve whatever they want to achieve. And this is the page. So this is the body of the page. If you go to the body of the page, this gives you the body content. So if you select it, you see the whole of the body, as you can see over here. Okay. Now if you open the body, it is also made up of tags and script files. So if I minimize this one, and then I minimize this one too, you see that there's a div tag here. Then apart from the div tag, there are so many script tags all over in the document. So, and script tags are basically JavaScript files which have been loaded and linked to the document. Okay. And if you come to the web pages, what is rendered are HTML tags. So, we've already discussed the main elements of the design. Okay, you cannot add to the list, you cannot subtract from the list. These are images, like these ones and this one. These small ones are all images. Like typography using text. There are different text sizes, different formatting, different colors, different background colors. There are videos. There are more videos. You see, this is a collection of images that has been placed on the side with a text tag by the side. This is also a text. You can see if you make a post in the Facebook, the post is made up of your name, your avatar, then some few text, a video or an image. Then you can bring more text and stuff, as you can see. So basically, that is what it is. If you are rendering a web page, the rendering results that you are seeing on a web page is an HTML tags that has been arranged in a very sophisticated way using other softwares. If you don't understand HTML very well, it will be very difficult for you to appreciate and use other softwares. If you go to LinkedIn also, the same thing, no changes. The design is different, but it is made up of the same composition of text, images, videos, and then what have you. You cannot add to the list, you cannot subtract from the list. They are known and agreed upon elements of design which are there for you to pick and then use from. And if you inspect the LinkedIn page also, you realize that we have, sorry, I'm having some small code. If you look at the LinkedIn objects too, we also have what we call the DOM on the side. And when I minimize the body, it is the same concept, HTML, head tag, and then the body tag. That's what it is. That's what you should know for now. Okay. Now, these are live websites which are visited. So for instance, if you look at this LinkedIn address, the address I've entered here, the URL address I've entered here, we call it Uniform Resource Locator. It is https www.linkedin.com/company/5085/admin/fee/post. So it's a very long link. These are the website. If I go to Facebook here, and I come here and I click on this Facebook icon, for instance, it will take me to another page, which is also a rendered HTML page. So more or less, it takes me to the home page of the Facebook, which is also a rendered HTML page. Sorry. So in effect, every website is made up of several pages, and it is your duty as a web developer to help the user navigate the pages from one end to the other. And to be able to do that, then you must understand the HTML very, very well. You can. This is a production-ready website which people are using and making it live. Let me show you another website which is also in the development mode, which I'm working on. It is my own personal website. I'll launch it very soon with time. So I'll go to Visual Studio Code, my IDE of choice. And if you come in here, you see that there are a lot of apps that I'm working on. There are a lot of folders, templates, venv, static, requirements, and so on. If I open my apps, it's made up of the accounts app, library app, and the website app. If you open each of them, accounts app, you see there are a lot of files. Every folder that you open is made up of a lot of files. Every folder. That's the reality on the ground. This is what we are going to do in the distant future, but you should know. So just learning HTML and understanding HTML, you see all of these things are HTML files. So if I click on say course Dynamo HTML, for instance, you see that there's HTML content here. If I go to course Python, there's HTML content here. These are what you call Django way of writing HTML. You look at it at the right time. If you go to library, for instance, there are a lot of HTML files also. Okay, so you can see that I'm using a lot of HTML files in the work that I'm doing here. So you realize that if you scroll, it's about how many lines of code? Roughly about 2,191 lines of code. It can be more with time, depending upon the complexity of the website. Okay, now if I go into, let's say, the website app, you see there are files, there are static files, which are audio files, CSS files, images, JavaScript, SVGs, videos, and so on and so forth. And if you look at my templates too, I have a lot of templates that I work with, partials, and then website templates. And under website templates, I've organized them into directories for courses, discover, enroll, and so on and so forth. So you can see that it can be very long. And if you go to the core folder, it contains still content. If you go to the requirements folder, it still contains content. If you go to the static folder, it still contains content and stuff. If you go to the VM, which is a virtual environment, it also has its own list of contents. So in effect, this website is made up of a lot of files and folders. That is where we are getting to. But you must understand HTML and CSS before you can venture into this arena. If your HTML is weak and your CSS is weak, it will be very difficult for you to develop a proper dynamic website, whether using Django, using PHP, using .NET framework, and whatever. So when I open this website, this is the website. So I'll go to the home page. This is the home page. So you see the same things we are talking about. If I go to inspect, it doesn't change. It's still the head, the doc type, the HTML tag, the head tag, and then the body tag. And if you go to the head tag, there are some few head tags here. If you go to the body tag, there are some few tags inside the body. And if you scroll through, what you see here, this is an image, a text, image, text. Basically, images and text play a very crucial role in websites. All these are images and text arranged in a very systemic manner. Are you ready to learn? You can go and choose start. And when you click on start, for instance, it will take you to another page. And if you look at the browser, it reads accounts.register. So if you are not registered, you can enter your username, enter a password, and then register. But because I still development mode, I have registered an account already. I can go to login. And when I go to login, I can go to Mankind and then type password. That's the username, Mankind, and the password is let me enter my password. As soon as I enter my password and I enter, and I go to login, it will open the website for me. And this time around, it is telling me that I'm logged in as Mankind with my email address at the top here. Okay, you can go to discover, and when you go to discover, you can see that there are different sessions for the discover. We have the frequently asked questions, contact me, download, style guide, financial options, and then blog. And if you go to each of them, it gives you the things that are on this page. It's still in the development process, so I've just used Lorem Instant Text to replace what I'm going to put there. But if I click on the frequently asked questions, look at the status bar down here. As soon as I hover on this one, it shows me the address, so you can take me straight to the frequently asked questions page. So in the frequently asked question page, I can look at courses related questions, Revit related questions, Navisworks related questions, Dynamo related questions, Python related questions. Please, we are doing web development, but the AEC industry is my specialty, and I actually learned website to enable me to do this website, to be able to do that. So maybe in future, I'll think of adding web development courses to my web page also. Okay. Now, if you look at it, there are different pages. You can go to enroll, and if you go to enroll too, it's another page. You still see text, you still see images, text, images, and so on and so forth. Text, images, and if you come to the footer, it's still about text, different tags, different text content, different images, different tags, different text content. So basically, that is what HTML is about. In our next chapter, we will look at how to write your first HTML code. Thank you very much.